Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when the road grows rough, when the wind howls against our backs, and the world seems to whisper, "This is where you stop." But I stand before you today to remind you of a truth older than time itself. You were never created to surrender. Inside each of us lives a quiet thunder, a strength that refuses to bow, a spirit that rises even when the night tries to smother its flame. You have walked through storms that should have broken you, yet somehow here you are, breathing, standing, hoping, and that alone is proof that there is something magnificent within you. Today, let us remember the power of persistence, the beauty of resilience, and the unshakable truth that no matter how heavy the world may grow, you must never give up. When life pushes you down, it is easy to believe that the ground is where you belong. It is easy to think that the weight on your shoulders is stronger than the strength in your bones. But hear me clearly, falling is not failing. Every single stumble you have endured carries a whisper of wisdom. Every scar has a story to tell, and every bruise is a reminder that you have lived through something that tried to break you, yet could not keep you there. The world may shove you, storms may knock on your door uninvited, and disappointments may arrive in waves, but you were born with the instinct to rise. It is written in your heartbeat. It is stitched into your soul. Rising is not an act you perform. It is who you are. Sometimes you rise slowly, dragging pieces of yesterday behind you. Sometimes you rise trembling, uncertain if your legs will carry you far. Sometimes you rise with tears burning in your eyes because the hurt is fresh and the wound is unhealed. But rise you still do. Even the smallest lift of your chin, the slightest breath of courage, the most fragile step forward is evidence that your spirit has not surrendered. And that alone is victory. The world may think strength looks like boldness, noise, and unshakable confidence, but there is a quieter strength, gentler but deeper, the strength that whispers, "Not today. I will not stay down today." You may feel like the world pushes you more often than it embraces you. Life has a way of testing souls it knows can handle the fire. And though you may wonder why the mountains in your path are taller than the mountains in someone else's, understand this truth. The universe has seen your ability to climb. The challenges placed before you are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to grow, to rise, to stretch into the person you were always meant to be. The world pushes you, yes, but only so you can learn the power of pushing back. There will be moments when you doubt your strength, moments when you question whether you have anything left inside to give. But beneath that exhaustion lies a brilliance you haven't even discovered yet. You have endured storms that would have drowned others. You have survived nights that seemed endless. You have risen after heartbreaks that cracked you open. That is not weakness. That is resilience woven through the very fabric of your spirit. Every single rise you have made, no matter how small, no matter how slow, has built you into someone stronger, wiser, and braver. So rise again. Rise gently if you must. Rise quietly if you need to. Rise with trembling hands or steady ones, with a weary heart or a hopeful one. But rise, because every time you lift yourself from the dust, you prove to the world and to yourself that the push against you is never greater than the power within you. You are living testimony that no force, no failure, no fall is strong enough to keep a determined soul on the ground. There is a truth many people forget when the winds roar and the clouds gather heavy above their heads. You were never made to shatter. You may bend beneath the weight of hardship. You may tremble beneath the pressure of uncertainty. But your spirit was crafted with a strength that cannot be undone by any passing storm. Life has surely tried to convince you otherwise. It has thrown days at you that felt too long, nights that felt too dark, and moments that felt too heavy for any one heart to hold. Yet here you stand, not because the journey has been easy, but because your spirit knows how to endure what the world believes should break you. You are not fragile glass, delicate and easily destroyed. You are the steel forged through years of rising, falling, healing, learning, and trying again. When storms arrive, they do not come to announce your ending. They come to reveal your depth. The rain that falls upon your life does not wash you away. It washes you clean. The thunder that shakes your world does not warn of collapse. It awakens a courage that was sleeping within you. Every storm you have faced has shaped you, molded you, and strengthened you, even when you felt weak in the moment. Steel is not born strong. It is shaped in heat, pressure, and relentless fire, and so are you. The storms that once made you afraid are the same storms that taught you how to stand firmly, how to breathe through difficulty, and how to hold on when everything in you wants to let go. There will be moments when the storm feels endless, when the winds howl louder than your own voice, and when you question whether you have the strength to withstand one more blow. But even in that moment of doubt, something in you holds on. That something is the part of your spirit that refuses to surrender. That something is the whisper that says, I have survived storms before. I will survive this one too. It is a quiet determination, often unnoticed by the world, yet it is the reason you have risen from situations that once felt impossible. Your spirit does not retreat from storms, it grows through them. And when the storm finally breaks, as all storms eventually do, you look back and realize that you have become stronger in ways you couldn't see while you were in the middle of the struggle. You discover a sturdiness in your soul, a resilience carved into your being, and a courage that stands taller than the fear that once tried to drown you. The storm that threatened to undo you becomes the storm that revealed you. It showed you your power, your persistence, and your capacity to withstand what you once believed would ruin you. So the next time life shakes, rattles, or roars, remember the truth you often forget. Your spirit was built for storms. You are not here to crumble at the first sign of trouble. You are here to rise through every wind, to endure every rain, to outlast every thunder, and to walk forward with strength born from every challenge you have overcome. You are tempered steel, shaped by purpose, strengthened by experience, and destined to stand, no matter how loud the storm becomes. Hope does not always arrive with trumpets or bright banners. More often it comes softly, slipping into the quiet spaces of your heart when you least expect it. It does not demand your attention or rise above the noise of the world. Instead, it settles gently within you, like a whisper carried by the wind, reminding you that even in your darkest hour, something within you still believes in tomorrow. You may not always hear it clearly, you may not always feel its warmth, but hope has a way of staying, even when everything else feels lost. It hums quietly in your bones, urging you to take one more step, breathe one more breath, and hold on just a little longer. There are days when life feels like a heavy curtain falling over your eyes, blocking out all the light you once knew. In those moments, it is easy to think that hope has abandoned you, but hope is not loud because it does not need to be. It is patient, it waits, it sits in the corner of your soul, steady and unshaken, ready to rise the moment you turn toward it. Sometimes the smallest shift of thought, the slightest spark of courage, is enough to hear its faint melody again. Hope does not leave. It simply waits for you to remember that it is there. There will be seasons when silence surrounds you, when answers are scarce, and when the path ahead feels more like a blank page than a clear direction. In those moments, despair will try to convince you that hope is foolish, that your efforts are wasted, and that nothing will ever change. But deep inside, beneath every layer of fear and fatigue, hope continues its quiet song. It does not shout over your doubts. it outlasts them. It remains as a steady pulse within you, guiding you forward even when you cannot see where you are going. Hope is not the absence of hardship, it is the companion that walks through hardship with you. You may find that hope speaks loudest when you are still. When you slow your mind, when you breathe deeply, when you stop running from your pain and finally sit with it, hope begins to rise like a gentle dawn. It brings with it a softness, a reassurance that no night lasts forever and no struggle is without purpose. It reminds you that though the world may be harsh, your heart is stronger than it knows. Hope is the quiet courage that urges you to lift your head, to open your eyes, and to believe again, even if believing feels risky. You may not even recognize your own courage because it doesn't feel like what you were taught courage should be. It feels like waking up when you want to hide. It feels like moving forward when fear begs you to stay still. It feels like choosing healing when pain has become familiar. It feels like telling yourself, I can try again, even after the world tells you to quit. This quiet courage is often uncelebrated, unnoticed by others, but it is the reason you have survived every hardship that tried to silence you. There will be nights when courage doesn't feel like a flame at all, but like a fragile spark, flickering and unsure. You may reach for it and find only a small glow, barely enough to warm your tired heart, but even that tiny glow is enough. Courage does not need to be overwhelming, it only needs to exist. The smallest spark can guide you through the darkest tunnel if you protect it, nurture it, and believe in it. The world may try to extinguish that spark with disappointment, with failure, with heartbreak, but you have proven time and time again that your fire, no matter how quiet, refuses to die. And so, when tomorrow arrives, you try again. Not because everything magically became easier, not because fear disappeared, and not because life suddenly opened its doors without barriers. You try again simply because something inside you refuses to stay defeated. That quiet insistence, that soft voice that whispers, I will try again tomorrow, is courage in its purest form. It's the courage that carries you through storms, through seasons of doubt, through moments when giving up seems like the simplest option. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a declaration that your spirit is stronger than your struggle. Every time you choose to rise, even shakily, you prove that courage doesn't need to roar, it only needs to stay. And as long as it stays, even as a whisper, you will always have the strength to keep moving forward, refusing to surrender, choosing day after day to never give up. Pain has a way of convincing you that you are trapped, as if every ache is a locked door and every disappointment is a chain meant to hold you where you are. But pain was never designed to be your prison. It is a teacher, stern, demanding, often unwelcome, but a teacher nonetheless. It arrives in moments when you least want its lessons, and it stays longer than you think you can endure. Yet every time pain knocks you to your knees, it also offers an invitation to rise wiser, stronger, and more aware than before. It does not come to punish you, it comes to transform you, to peel away the layers that no longer serve you, and to reveal the resilience that has been living quietly inside you all along. You may look back on moments of heartbreak, loss, betrayal, or failure and wonder why life allowed such heaviness to rest on your shoulders. But with time, you begin to see that those very moments shaped parts of you that comfort, guide, and strengthen others. Pain teaches you compassion because you have walked roads that broke you open. It teaches you patience because you have waited through nights that seemed endless. It teaches you courage because you have faced fears that tried to control you. And it teaches you endurance because even when your heart cracked, even when your hope dimmed, even when your breath felt shallow, you kept walking. There are days when pain feels like a weight pressing into your chest, making every step forward feel impossible. It is natural to wish it away, to ask for lighter days, to crave moments free of struggle. But pain also sharpens your sight. It makes you aware of your inner strength in ways comfort never could. It stretches you into someone deeper, someone who no longer breaks at the first sign of difficulty. You may not see the purpose in the moment, but every wound you carry has taught you something about who you are and what you can survive. And survival in itself is a form of triumph. There will be times when the hurt feels too loud, when your doubts seem stronger than your faith. Pain can make the heart weary and the mind restless. It can make you believe you are stuck in one chapter forever. But pain is movement. It is a process meant to shift you, not confine you. It forces you to confront truths you once avoided. It pushes you to release what no longer fits the person you are becoming. It guides you, slowly but surely, toward the next version of yourself, a version shaped by experience, steadied by wisdom, and softened by understanding. One day you will look back on what once hurt you and realize it did not destroy you, it shaped you. The very thing that made you crumble also taught you how to rebuild. The very storm that terrified you also taught you how to stand. And the very pain that made you question your strength became the reason you discovered it. You may not feel it now, but with every step you take through difficulty, you are growing into someone more grounded, more aware, and more powerful than you were before. So when pain arrives, do not assume it came to imprison you. Treat it as the teacher it truly is. Listen to the quiet wisdom hidden beneath the ache. Walk through the hurt with as much grace as you can, even if your steps are slow and unsteady, because what breaks you today may build you tomorrow. And as long as you keep walking, as long as you refuse to stop moving forward, pain will never have the final say. You will. Your past is not something you drag behind you like a chain. It is something you carry within you like a library filled with every lesson you have lived. Every moment you have survived, no matter how small or how devastating, has carved strength into your spirit. People often look at their history with regret or shame, thinking it weighs them down. But what lives behind you is not meant to weaken you. It is meant to remind you of everything you have already overcome. You carry the proof of survival in every breath you take. You carry the evidence of endurance in every step you move forward. Nothing you have been through has left you empty. It has filled you with resilience, even when you did not realize it. You have walked through nights when the silence felt heavy and unforgiving. You have endured seasons of loneliness when you wondered if anyone saw your pain. You have faced disappointments that tried to convince you there was no point in hoping. Yet you kept living, you kept trying, you kept waking up to another day, even when yesterday felt unbearable. That alone is strength, not the loud kind, not the kind that demands to be noticed, but the quiet kind that grows in the shadows of hardship, strengthening your spirit even while your heart feels fragile. Sometimes you forget how far you've come because the journey ahead looks longer than the miles you've traveled. You forget the days you didn't think you'd survive, the moments when giving up felt easier than continuing, the times you walked through fire and somehow emerged with your soul intact, but your spirit remembers. It remembers every tear you wiped, every fear you faced, every moment you felt like breaking but didn't. That memory lives inside you like a steady pulse, reminding you that there is nothing in your future you are not strong enough to face. Your resilience is not something you built in comfort. It was carved out of pain, shaped in uncertainty, and strengthened in moments of fear. The life you've lived has trained you in ways no classroom ever could. It has taught you how to rise from disappointment, how to heal from wounds, how to rebuild yourself from pieces you thought were too small to matter. Your past is not your weakness. It is your training ground. Every struggle prepared you for the next rise. Every fall taught you how to stand differently, more firmly, more wisely than before. You carry all of that with you even now. So when you face something difficult and your heart whispers, I don't know if I can do this, remember that you have already done so much. You have survived storms that once threatened to drown you. You have walked through moments that tried to steal your hope. You have risen from hurts that felt too deep to heal. These are not small things. They are monumental victories written into your story. You carry them quietly, but they are there, woven into who you are. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by how you rose from it. Every day you continue forward, you add another line to the story of your resilience. You may feel tired, you may feel uncertain, but nothing in you is weak. You have lived through too much to ever call yourself fragile. You are the sum of your survival, the testament of perseverance, the living proof that even the hardest chapters cannot hold you down. What you carry is not a burden, it is your strength. It is your reminder that you have already defeated so much, and you will continue to rise again and again, no matter what stands in your way. There is a light inside you that no one else in this world carries. It may not blaze like the sun, it may not shine loudly for all to see, but it is yours, unique, irreplaceable, and deeply needed. Too often, people underestimate the power of their presence. They think their voice is too small, their story too ordinary, their gifts too humble to matter. But the truth is, someone somewhere is waiting for the warmth only your light can give. Someone is waiting for the wisdom born from your wounds, the comfort shaped by your compassion, the strength carved from your survival. If you dim yourself, if you step back, if you give up, the world loses something it can never replace. You might not feel like a beacon. You may feel tired, forgotten, or overshadowed by others whose brightness seems louder than yours. But light doesn't have to roar to be seen. Sometimes the softest glow is the one that guides someone out of their darkest night. Think of the times when a simple word saved you from giving up, when someone's quiet kindness carried you through a hard moment, when one glimpse of hope in another person helped you believe again. Those moments were not grand gestures. They were small lights held by people who didn't even know they were saving someone, and you hold that same quiet power inside you. Life will try to convince you that you don't matter. It will try to silence your voice, shrink your confidence, and bury your worth beneath comparison and doubt. You may wonder if your story has any meaning at all, but every experience you've lived, every heartbreak, every triumph, every fear you've faced, shaped you into someone whose light is both healing and necessary. You shine in ways you don't even realize. You touch hearts without knowing. You inspire people simply by standing up again after falling. Your resilience is a lighthouse for someone who has lost their way. There are people you have not met yet who will draw strength from your persistence. There are souls whose paths will cross yours and find comfort in your courage. There are hearts that will feel less alone because you kept going. This world is full of darkness, fear, loneliness, uncertainty, pain. And while your light may not erase all of it, it can pierce the places only you can reach. That small flicker of strength inside you may be the very thing that helps another person rise. But that can only happen if you continue, if you refuse to give up, if you keep pushing forward even when the path feels unclear. Your story is not finished. There are chapters still unwritten, destinies still unfolding, lives still waiting to be touched by your presence. You may think giving up only affects you, but it ripples far beyond you. Your light is part of a larger tapestry, a part that cannot be filled by anyone else. The world needs your voice, your kindness, your strength, your perspective. It needs the fire in your spirit, no matter how small it feels. It needs the lessons you've learned, the dreams you're chasing, the heart that keeps rising no matter how many times it's been hurt. So keep shining, even when you feel dim. Keep walking, even when the world feels heavy. Keep speaking, even when your voice trembles. Because somewhere, someone is finding their strength in the light you didn't even know you were giving. And as long as you keep going, that light will continue to spread, soft, steady, and powerful enough to change the world in ways you may never see, but will always matter.